This is Irontrader. It is Friday morning, TGIF. Now, really another good week of trading here went on. So remember, this is Friday, so it's last day, so you got to make it count. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, and natural gas. Remember, the rig count will be out today at 1 p.m. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin daily and your weekly chart. Let's take a little quick ski at it, okay? Now, you can see here we had this really nice good rally up here, topped out at 127,240, and then we have this like a downtrending situation, okay? Now, what we're really doing is focusing right on this 8-day, okay? So if you're looking at the upside here, is 122,494 level, okay? So if we can get above that level, then what we want to do is come right up above here at 122,955, and then we'll come up here to the top of that candle at 123,615, okay? And then we'll come up here to the top of this candle right here at that 124,465. But this is going to be the key level right here, okay? 125,200. Beyond reason being is this was a double top, okay? Yeah, did we break out through it? Yes. But you notice you really couldn't really hold that on a closing basis, maybe just for a 1 day, okay? So that's what we're going to be looking for. 125,200. We got to get back above that. Now, again, obviously, if we can, then we come up top of that candle, 126,295, and then there's your big retest, 127,240. You crack that, 130, 135. Downside here. Well, as I say, we remember, watch that 8-day, but what we want to do is we want to watch today's low. We had 121,605. We go right to the left of the chart here, 127,420 level. Okay, see that? 605. That's right there is your next level, is 121,420 level. Then what we'll do is we'll come down to the bottom of yesterday's candle. We're going to have 120,370 level. And then we'll come over the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 119, 810. And then we'll come over top of there. You're looking at 119, 145. And then we can just start following these candles right on down, 118, 470. And then we'll be looking for that 21-day at 117, 490. Now, the 50-day is right below that, right there at that 115, 829. So this is still a very, very bullish chart. We just have this sideways consolidation like we had here and like we had here once we start rallying off the top. Now, when we look at here at this RSI, this is not overbought, oversold. You're sitting at 58, nice and plenty of room to run, and the green is still over your red. Okay, so the key is we got to get back and close above that 122,503 level. That's going to be very, very key. Watch that level. Watch the top of that, 123,615 and 125,200. That's going to be all key. Then we can hit that 127. Then we have to see what the reaction is once we get there. Now, when we look at the weekly chart, you can still see very, very bullish kind of situation. You come all the way down to the 50-day, and it's still very, very bullish situation for the longer term. Okay, so you can see here how we topped right on out, topping tail, and another topping tail there for the week. See, as the key is I'm looking at that price channel, that 125,200. You have to close above it. You can't just do a little pop ski and drop, okay, like here. That's just not going to handle it, okay? So you have to get above that right there, this price channel, 125,200. Then we can do the retest. Then we can go to that 130 level. Right now here, the 8-day, look at this, very, very nice. It never crossed that 21-day. Still looking very good. You can come all the way down to the 8-day, all the way down to 115 level, and it's still very, very bullish. Same way to as long as we hold that 21-day, which is holding up very, very nicely. Now, when you look at the RSI, look at there, plenty of room. The only that's sitting at 62, and the green is trying to cross that red, but just nothing at yet. But we have a very bullish chart, bottom left, upper right here. So right now, what we do is when you get these scenarios here, where you see that we have this price channel, and it goes outside that price channel, it wants to always come in towards that 8 SMA, just like we did here, and then it wants to come on in kind of a situation, all right? So this is a trader's market right now. Until we can crack that 127, then you can just, once you start breaking those highs, because we have like the blue sky up here, once you crack that, then yeah, you can take that, guys. I'm going to take a long position. But right now, this is just a trader's market. So I do BITX for the long. That's a 2 times leverage. You can do IBIT. Now you can do a short ski, okay, BITI, which is a nice short, which you can do. So I did a little short here on this scenario here, but I'm not really wanting to do the short unless we start losing yesterday's low. Then we can do a short because your target's going to be right there, that 21-day, and possibly all the way down to that 50 SMA here. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Here we have gold and silver. Now you can see the massive run that we had right on up here. Look at this, okay? See, as long as we're holding that 8-day, sideways to up action, okay? But look how nice it's holding this 8-day, okay? See, all the way on up. Now, yesterday came all the way up. We didn't make a new high. Yesterday we got a high of 4,077, so we didn't make a new high, but it came down, and where'd it go? Right to that 8-day. Look how nice that is, okay? Where'd it go today? Right down to that 8-day. So this is going to be very, very key support level, is this 39.67 level. Now, if we lose that, then we'll come right to the top of that candle, right to that 39.22 level. We'll come to the bottom there at 39.09, and we'll come to the bottom there at 38.61, and then we have your 39, your 21 SMA here, okay? So just always watch, because as this runs up, okay, that becomes now good, very, very good support. So always watch the top of that candle, that 39.22. Then we just follow that bad boy right down here, that 39.09 and that 38.61, and then we have that 38.39 level. Okay. Now, obviously, if we lose that, well, we come down to that price channel at 3,600, and then we come out to that 50-day at 36.32. But right now, you got to respect that 8-day, because look how many days this has held very, very nicely. Okay. So now upside, we're watching today's highs, 4,020 level. So you look right to the left here, 4,014. Okay, and then we come to the next level is 4,077, and then 4,081. So I figured you'd hit that 4,000 area, just like I figured we'd hit the 50-day 50 mark on there. We came pretty damn close on the silver, but we're looking at now, again, if you crack that, now they got really predictions where this gold is going to go to 5,000, which it possibly very well could be. It's just that, remember, for me, this is just a trade kind of a situation, okay? So now we held this 8-day, so I'll be looking for the GLD to maybe take that all the way up to that 4,081. GLD is the easy way to trade this. SLD here for the old silver kind of situation. Now, we got to a way extremely overbought scenario, so that pullback yesterday was really nothing to be surprised about, because you got way over 80 mark, and usually when you hit the 70 mark, that's pretty very, very, very strong overbought conditions. So let's see how this all going to shake out. So bottom line today is watch that 8-day. Very, very critical. And then watch that 4,081. You break out, it's going to be 4,100, and 4,120 is going to be your next targets. All right, silver. Well, doing the same old thing. Okay, look at this. Holding up very, very nicely. Now, yesterday we had this big topping tail, but it came down. But you notice where it held? Right? It closed above that 8-day. Okay. Now, today we made a lower low, and we're back above that 8-day. Okay, look how nice that is, right? So what we're watching here on the downside is watch that 8-day, 47.82. Okay, we lose that, then we'll come down right down to this level here. You're looking at 46.89, and then today's low, 46.70 level. Then we come down to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 45.71, and then right there, 45.58 is your catch-all, your 21 SMA here. Now, you can see here as it lost that 8-day, came down, held that 21-day. So I'm expecting the same thing here. Always respect it until it's broken. That's the key. Now, upside, well, we're watching today's high, that 48.50 level. Then we come up here, you got 48.61. We'll come on top of that candle there, 49.19, and then 49.96. Okay, came pretty close to that 50. Now, you crack that 50, then you're going to go 50.20, 50.50, and 51. Kind of a situation. But right now, just kind of watch that candle, because when you have that topping tail, and now we have a lower low, let's see how that shakes out today. But really watch that 8-day. That's going to be very, very critical. So as long as we're holding that 8-day, we got sideways to up action. Now, we got to an way overbought scenario. Came right on down, but we're still hanging in. You can see how strong this is on the RSI. The green is still over your red. It hasn't come down yet, but it doesn't look as good as what the gold chart does. Okay? All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. All right, here we have crude oil, your daily chart. Now, you can see here how we had this double top. See how we had that high? Okay, 66.03. We retested that bad boy with 66.42, a little higher, but you notice it couldn't close, and then we sold right on down. Now, look at what happened here, okay? We had a nice good rally up, got above the 8-day, but look at that 21-day, see? So when I say the catch-all, okay, it works to the upside the same way. So if you break that 8-day, that becomes very, very strong resistance. Right into the 21-day, right into the 21-day, and now we're below that 8-day, okay? So on the upside, you got to climb back above that 8-day, okay? 61.43, then your next target is going to be right there, 62.78, and then your next upside target is going to be 63.32, and then we have 64.77, and then we come to the top of that candle, 65.40, and then 66.45. That is going to be your 200 SMA. Downside, okay, right here is everything. 60.40. You got to hold 60.40. That's going to be very, very critical. Now, We lose 60.40. Well, all we do is go right to the left here. Okay. Your next target is going to be 60.02. Okay. Then your next target is going to be right there at 59.74. Just that simple. We lose that. We come right to the bottom here at 57.74. And then we have 57.03. And we have 56.39, 55.30, and 55.12. Nothing's really changed. Now, RSI, well, this is 39. This is nowhere near oversold. Same way with here. This is nowhere near oversold. So, again, we got to watch two key levels. 60.40 on the downside, okay? And then that 8-day 61.43 on the upside. But see how strong, this is why you want to trade the charts. It went right into it. So UCO was a really good trade from there to there. And then I jumped to the SEO because you could not get above that 21-day. And now we made this lower low. So right now I'm watching that 60.40 level. Okay. So I got 3,000 shares of SEO. And if it, closes below this, then I'll add to that position because here's your target right there at that 59.74 level. Now remember, OPEC is going to be adding about 137,000 barrels per day in November. Now they were also supposed to do that there in October, but they exceeded that by quite a bit there, over 300,000 barrels. So they're really flooding the market. So right now, what they're looking for is not really looking for price as they are looking for as a where they can actually control the situation and get out all those volunteer cuts. Okay, they don't want to have that. They're looking at market share. That's what they're looking at, especially like Saudi Arabia. Looking at the market share, they're not really looking at the price today. Okay, so always remember that today. Okay, so once we crack that 60.40, then we're going to be looking for that 59.74 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. All right, here we have natural gas. Okay, so we rallied right up here nicely, but you look how strong that 3.48 that 200-day was. Now we closed above it one day, but the next day we popped up and then we just could not hold it and it came right on down. Now the natural gas numbers came out yesterday. You had a big build. You had 80 billion cubic feet. They're expecting 77 billion cubic feet. The week before that, they only had 53 billion cubic feet. So you got plenty of natty gas here. Okay, so what we did is we could not hold that 200-day. Now we went below that 8-day, and then we went below the 100-day. Now we're looking for this 200 or this 21 SMA. Okay, so your next key support level is going to be the 3.15 level. Now, if we lose that, look to the bottom of this candle right here, 3.12. Okay, that's what you want to look for next. And then we look to the 50-day at 3.02, and then we look for the gap fill at 2.96 level. Okay, so eventually, natty gas is going to be a really good buying opportunity. It's just that right now, it's just kind of like a trader's kind of a situation market. But again, that's why I like trading natural gas, because it's very fickle. You can't really predict. It's just all over the place. Okay, so we have 50. That's not overbought or oversold. The green now wants to cross over red. Hasn't done it yet. But let's see if it can hold that key 3.15. If not, we got the gap, the 50-day, and the fill. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Upside right here. 100 days everything. 3.24. You get above that, then we go right to the 8-day at 3.35, and then we go to the 200-day, 3.48, and then we go to the retest up there at 3.58. Okay, just that simple. Okay, but let's just see if it holds that 21-day. Now, what I'm looking for is a buying opportunity kind of a situation. So I was trying to load up on here going because they said predicting a cold winter kind of situation. That didn't really work out. So basically what I'm doing is just trading it. Okay, so took a nice good trade in the short on the KOLD. When we're falling on down. So I'm looking here to see if we can support on that 3.15. Then we can take that like a UNG is what I trade. Very, very easy. And we can take it maybe on the long side or maybe even down to that 50-day or maybe even that gap fill. Okay. Now it doesn't have to fill that gap. You can stop right at the 21-day. You can stop right there at that 3.12, just like it did here. Okay. See, we have 2.77. What do we have over here? 2.77. It never filled that gap. But that becomes very, very good support. So got to give it a little time, patient out. It's all going to be going on supply, demand, and what is going to be that winter is going to be a real cold winter situation. Okay, all right. So right now, just watch that 21-day. Very, very key. And then on the upside, watch that 100-day. Okay, so we're playing that ping pong action. Let's see which direction she rolls. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here at the old midday trading. We'll take a look at some stocks and see what's going on. Now remember, this is Friday. Okay, so you want to go out on the weekend on a positive note. Okay, so don't get overextended, and you don't want to come out revenge trading here on Monday. It's not a good look for you. Okay, trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.